Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our weekly trading plan webinar. This is Simon with AvaTrade, and for those of you that are new, I want to welcome you. I hope this will be practical for you, and you will take some home with you, and it will affect your trading in a positive way. So the idea of the weekly trading plan, the same, pretty much says in the title. What we're trying to do is prepare ourselves for the upcoming week. And the way this webinar started, as I repeated a few times, in a way of homework. At one of the webinars that I did, I mentioned about doing the homework, and then someone said, why don't we do webinars on homework? And we started to do these weekly trading plan webinars. So a few things about myself. My name is Simon Friedman. I'm a senior account manager with AvaTrade. I have experience of over 22 years. I started as a proprietary trader back in New York. I worked in few proprietary firms for about 11 years. And after that, I started to mentor and educating traders. Of course, up until today, I'm involved with markets, actively trading on a regular basis, and it helps me to share the knowledge and to help others with things. It's like in everything else, you have to be in it to be successful. So what we do here is pretty much the same every week. We'll talk about indices, stocks, commodities, and Forex. We're starting usually with the big picture and then going into economic calendar, and then we go into a trading terminal and look into specific instruments. And of course, this is for you to keep in touch with us, to follow up and get very useful information. You have a Telegram channel, you have Twitter, you have a YouTube channel, which is my favorite. And I'm sure a lot of you will be watching this on the YouTube channel, so I suggest that you subscribe and then click on that bell so you'll be notified when new things are being posted, and they're being posted on a regular basis. And it's a lot of educational materials there, and a lot of things that you will find useful. And before we go any further, it's a risk warning. You can find the full document on avatrade.com. Pretty much what we do here, it's educational. It shouldn't be taking as suggestion to your trading, and that's what it is. Um, Economic calendar, before we go into it, just talk a minute about what's happening in the world. The week before, we had certain unpleasant things, very sad things. We had former Prime Minister of Japan was shot and he died. We had issues with UK government still going on. They're looking for a substitute for Boris Johnson, and now this week that ending, we have political issues in Italy with the former ECB president Draghi, Mario Draghi, and it's ongoing thing. Let's see what the outcome of that will be. Now, a big thing is China. Of course, before I go into it, of course, the war is there, the inflation is there, the central banks are trying to fight the inflation and take actions in increasing interest rate. We'll talk about it in a moment on economic calendar. And China. In China, there's, as we spoke about in a few meetings, a lot of real estate developer, they declare bankruptcy pretty much. So there were a lot of news uh, this week about people refusing to pay mortgages. I can't blame them. Imagine that you took a mortgage to purchase a house or an apartment that is being built, and then they tell you you don't have that anymore because the developer who was responsible for that uh, is bankrupt, but you still need to pay the mortgage. So now people are really telling the banks we're not going to pay. So a lot of analysts are saying this could be a repetition of what happened in 2008 in the US with Lehman Brothers and so on. So a lot of pressure on China. and we'll be seeing actually in a moment what Chinese index is doing. So that's China. Now let's move to economic calendar. Excuse me. We have a few things. We have consumer price index from New Zealand, and the governor of Bank of Australia speaking. Then on Tuesday, we have Bank of Australia minutes, meeting minutes that will be talking about monetary policy and situation. We have employment data from UK. We have ECB bank lending survey. We have governor again speaking of Bank of Australia. That's also on Tuesday. Here on Wednesday, we have the interest rate decision from China. Maybe what's happening there will be affecting the decision as well. We have inflation data from UK, and just to remind you that less inflation data from the States was way higher than expected. So as you could see, there was 9.1, they're expecting 9.3. We could be surprised in a much higher one. Again, we'll see what happens there. We have CPI numbers from Canada as well the same day. On Thursday, interest rate decision from Japan, followed by the statement, monetary policy statement, and the press conference. The same thing, this is a long-awaited decision from European Central Bank. And if you remember, the president, she said they're ready to do whatever it takes, and it could be any measures. As you could see here, they're expecting 0.25% change. It could be high, it could be half a percentage. We'll see what that decision is, and again, it's followed by press conference half an hour later. And Friday, we have PMI numbers from Germany, PMI numbers from European Union. We have PMI from UK and retail sales from Canada. Now, again, I just like to remind you, you see everything in red. What I do here, I just squeeze out the high impact events. And there are more events there. You can filter it. You can find things that are relevant to your trading. And again, as I like to say, it's important that you know about these events. You believe in them, you don't believe in them, you trade fundamental, you trade technicals. I think it's important to know that these events are coming in the specific days, specific times. And for me, it's simply not to get caught by surprise. You know, out of nowhere, you see the spike in the market, you don't know what happened. And next thing you find out that there was just NFP number or the rate decision or anything else of that source. So it's important to know. Okay, now we're going to move to the trading terminal. And actually, let's start from China that I mentioned. We had a very strong day on Friday. We had US indices moved very nicely. We have Dow Jones moved nicely, about 2.2%. S&P 500 moved about 1.9%, and NASDAQ moved 1.8%. It's a nice move to the upside. Now take a look at China. China actually sold out on that issues with a possible threat to financial institutions, and also the COVID cases are back. Some cities, I believe, in the lockdown. I'm not sure if Shanghai went into lockdown. I didn't check the latest on that, but take a look. After having this nice run and breaking above the 200 moving average, the Chinese index the whole week was really sliding lower, and we're back to this 14,000. If you remember, we said we were at 13 and a half, couldn't break the 14, then we broke it. We went to almost 15,000, actually touched 15,000. Yes, that was on the 5th of July. And now we're back to retesting around 14,000. Now let's see how this develops. I think this threat to financial institutions is a very serious thing, especially if investors now comparing it what happened with mortgages and what caused the global crash in 2008. So let's see what happens. So that's Chinese index. As we said, the US indices had a nice run, and if you can take a look, Nasdaq is back to 50 moving average, closed above it. The other two are playing catch up. So Dow Jones having a nice day. We still didn't come back to 50 moving average, and the same thing on S&P 500. Now, what's next for the indices? It's hard to say, but what I did here, I took the Fibonacci retracement percentage from the recent top to the recent bottom, and we are 23.6%. And if we are closing above it in the upcoming week, we have a closure above it, we probably go and retest the 50 moving average. And in case the market is going to be very, very strong, we'll see what happens with all the interest rate decision and all the data, global data on inflation. Anything could happen. So I'm not going to say it's not going to happen, even though there's a tremendous downtrend or downside pressure on the equities. But let's pretend it's going higher. So we will retest the 50 moving average. And if we break that, the 38.2 is the next level. If we follow the Fibonacci, again, it's just all hypothetical. We could continue lower the upcoming week when the public will digest all things that happen in China and other things. So that's as far as indices. Now, if you take a look at Japanese index, very strong but facing the previous resistance. European indices are in consolidation here. They really, this is the French index. It's trading a very, very tight channel, getting ready for something. FTSE had a nice move, but it's still within the Thursday candle. So it's really, really choppy here. As you can see, these huge tails, a lot of uncertainty in FTSE as it just illustrates the political situation that it's very uncertain in general. And as you can see, the market reflects the same thing. It's hard to trade here unless you're a scalper and you try to really catch quick moves by moving to a smaller time frame. And if you do trade a swing trade or midterm, it's a little bit hard with all these tails. Now DAX had a nice day on Friday. Unlike FTSE, broke the previous day's high, and we closed higher. So let's see what happens here. Now, just to remind everyone, there's a big crisis with natural gas there. The Russia shut down the Nord Stream. They're claiming they need service and they need to change the turbine. I think Canada is involved with possibly supplying that turbine. A lot of political things, a lot of judgment around it. Let's see what happens. They claimed that they're going to shut down for 10 days. A lot of people in Europe says that they might not come back to supplying it. So a lot of fear, a lot of insecurity, a lot of crisis there. So as you could see, the German index was really weak until Friday bounced a little bit. So if we do continue higher, we need to see, first of all, breaking the recent resistance here around 13,000. We are at 12,831. So that would be the first checkpoint if we decide to go higher. So that's it with indices. And let's talk about some individual stocks. We had a nice positive surprise from Citibank. They report nice earnings, better than expected. As you could see, the day before, the stock sold out, as they were expecting probably not such a great news. And this was surprise. You see, it gapped up and moved much higher. So just to give you an idea, on Thursday, the close was at 44.04, and we closed at almost 50 on Friday. So about $6 move. That's about 15%, right? A nice move to the upside. Now, we're running a little bit ahead. Goldman Sachs is reporting the next week. Actually, they're reporting on Monday before the market. So we might see a nice surprise here as well. As you could see on Friday, the stock went up, on probably expecting similar results as the Citibank reported. So ahead of earnings, the stock moved high. Of course, the market moved up. As you could see, the indices, all of them moved in average 2%. So Goldman Sachs will be watching what's the earning before the market on Monday. Now, Apple, we spoke about Apple last week. And if you remember, I shared with you the amazing developments happening, new products, new ideas, and the Apple stock was continuing the whole week to the upside, made a nice move. And we are facing the psychological 150 level here. Now, what's going to be next? 150. It's a very serious level. So you could see we moved higher from here. We came to retest all the way here and then moved higher again. We failed back in June as the market was selling, and we're back to this area after selling to as low as 129. So let's see what happens here. We're right between the two moving averages. We're above 50, below 100. Let's see what the market does in general, and we'll see what happens. If the market has a hard time go higher, Apple wouldn't really move past 150, 151 area maybe. And the opposite, when the market gets strength, if it gets strength, the Apple has a chance to move higher from here. Now, Tesla and Twitter story. You probably follow it as well. Twitter claims that it's an easy case and they're going to get money, so they're trying to settle for $1 billion. Musk refuses to do that. He says that they have no case. He didn't get the data, so let's see what's going to be in the upcoming week. Any development in that story? As of now, Tesla is trading around $719, right? Sitting on the 50 moving average. Twitter had a nice recovery into this trial. If you could see here, when the deal was off, Twitter just dropped to as low as 32.5, and we went $5 higher in the last week. So let's see what next over here. Now, a few more stocks reporting. Tesla actually reporting on the 20th after the market. So again, it's hard to say what the earnings are. The production is great. I think last numbers came up, even with China shut down, they beat the expectation as far as the amount of cars produced. I don't know how they did it. So the earnings, it could be good as well. As you could see, we are sitting here around 720. Again, there's a pressure from the court or the trial that they're about to enter, and the earnings will be making it or breaking it in this case. So that's on the 20th after the market open. And AT&T also reporting, and as you can see, that's Apple, AT&T right here, reporting on 21st before the market. And as we said last week, we're trading between 20 and 21.30. We are sitting on 50 moving average. And I think these are the first earnings since the spin-off of other things that's not related to the main business of AT&T. So let's see. As we said a few times, the investors are very positive about this stock since they're focusing on their core business now to the spin-off all the media. And we might see good results. So let's watch results of AT&T on the 21st before the market. Uber. I'm watching Uber on a regular basis. A lot of accumulations here. If you could see, we had like a triple bottom here. Friday, we closed above this previous support here that has been the resistance now, and we could be going higher and retest the 50 moving average here. Now for Twitter to break out of this downtrend, at least we need to break about 23.5. So that's about $2 from now, about 10%. So just knowing that, it could be the 10% profit for those traders that are just waiting for reaching this level over here. So again, it could be a nice play. Why am I watching Twitter? That idea of a speech of CEO is still in my mind that I spoke to a while ago, weeks back, when he said that Twitter is a great company and they're expecting great results. Unfortunately, the charts doesn't show it. So maybe his predictions will come into manifestation one of these days. So I'm watching as it was trying to break this 20.5 area. The low here was 1987. That was just a spike. We never closed as low as that. So we'll be watching Uber as well. So again, a few stocks that we went through is Goldman Sachs, Tesla, AT&T that will have earnings in the upcoming week. Citibank had a nice earnings in the week that's ending, and we'll be watching what's next in the stocks. Now let's move to commodities, and we'll start with natural gas. As you could see, since that shutdown of Nord Stream, natural gas picked up to the upside, and we moved from 6.18 to about 7.12, almost $1, and we kind of bouncing against the 100 moving average over here. What's next, I think, will depend on the geopolitical situation and development with this service, so-called service declared by Russians as a reason of shutting down the gas supply to Europe. So that's we'll be watching that. Now, crude oil, after this drop, it was a strong drop on the 12th of July. We went $10 a range on that day. We went from 103.36 at the highs to 93.57, almost $10 drop. That's 10% in one day. That was a very, very strong drop. And since then, we tried the following day to bounce a little bit. Then the day after, which was Thursday, the 14th, we went as low as 90.55, 90.5, and then we recovered almost all the way and closed on the highs of the day. That was a very interesting day. And on Friday, we had a green day, and we are facing this 98.5 resistance here. So we could take this day as a next range or current range, and that's again between 93 and 103, $10 range. And again, as you know, President Biden, the US president, has been traveling in the Middle East. Everybody expects some deals and some increase in pumping the oil from Saudis and OPEC in general. So I think in the upcoming week, we'll hear some news. And as far as the States, the prices went down a little bit at the gas station, so things cooling down a little bit. Hopefully will continue. We'll see. Again, a $10 drop, a little recovery in 3 days. We try to cover maybe half of it, of that drop. So let's see what's next. Now that's natural gas and crude oil. Gold has a tremendous down pressure as US dollar was gaining strength. We'll talk about in a moment. We actually broke on Thursday below 1800, below 1700. Sorry, we were at 1697.58, and then we closed 1711. The following day on Friday, the same thing, and we closed 1707. So it looks like 1700 is holding as of now. And let's see what upcoming week will bring as far as the US dollar strength and the market in general as well. So here, just to explain, gold went down on two things: a strong dollar and the market recovery as well. So if ideal for gold in the upcoming week could be if the dollar weakens and the market weakens, if there's a sell-off and the risk of will kick maybe some inflow of the funds into gold over here. If the market continues strength and dollar continues higher, we might see a retest of 1700 again. And if you zoom out, this is a very serious level. You see a lot of actions here, 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 and again another attempt to break below 1700. And the next checkpoint is 200 moving average. That's currently at 1653.5. And let's see what happens. That's gold. Copper went down with China, of course, and even bounced on the market, didn't really do much. Just on Friday, it bounced a little bit. So if China continues moving lower and the market continues lower, copper will not see any strength. And if the opposite happens, we might see the bounce. If you zoom out here, we are below the 200 moving average on the weekly chart. And if you draw the line here, the low of last week, it's right here from the previous weekly consolidation and the beginning of this big move to the upside. So as you could see, around this 312, 313 level, it looks like buyers finally stepped in again. But again, if you could see the spikes, it happens almost every week. We made a low and bounce, low and bounce, low and bounce, low and bounce. Who knows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 straight weeks to the downside. It was a strong move to the downside. And let's see what the equity market is doing. Let's see what China is doing. They have interest rate decision as well in the upcoming week. So as of now, the latest thing that 3.1290 is the support so far of the week that just ended. So that's copper. Palladium, if you remember, palladium had a nice move to the upside. We spoke about it as we held this 1873 area. We came all the way higher to cross the 100 and 200 moving average, and the whole week we just sold out and we came right back into this consolidation area. It could be a nice play for reversal, or it could take maybe another few days till we go and retest this level over here, 1759.70, and maybe that's where the major reversal will happen, or not. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight days, the whole week we're moving lower on palladium. Soft commodities, wheat. We spoke about wheat, how beautifully played it went to our target at 930, exactly, a little bit with the spike higher, and then it just went straight down, breaking down 800 and ending up closing at 780. Now we are at these levels over here. There was a lot of actions. And I tried to think why it sold out. There's some kind of progress. I think Turkey is trying to play a role of negotiator between Russia and Ukraine and UN, and they're trying to assist with freeing all the wheat that Ukraine is stuck with, not being able to take it out because of the Russians blocking the Black Sea. So maybe the progress there is showing some hope of enough supply, and the price went down. Maybe just the technical play, bringing it back here, looking for buyers. But in any event, 775, 774, we might see some buyers coming in. And of course, the fundamental things, the geopolitical and the war situation is also very sensitive to it. So let's see what happens in wheat. Corn, similar idea. We retesting the support again here and see what happens there. So that's as far as commodities. Let's move to the Forex, and we'll start with dollar index, of course. Trying to find it. Dollar index. As we said, we reached the 20-year high, and we went on Thursday 109.12. And Friday, we broke the Thursday low. So this could be it. Something that I mentioned last week, that at some point it's going to be a profit taking and a cool down moment or cooling down period. So it looks like Friday that will happen. We broke below the Thursday low, and it might continue till we find support here. If you look at euro dollar, the big story with parity, the same thing here on Thursday. We went below the parity. We went to 0.9951. So dollar was more expensive than euro for one day. And then Friday we bounced again. We above parity. Now it's 100.84. We closed, and the high was almost 1.01. So let's see what happens here. It looks like we're rejecting the parity here. The buyers are coming in and buying the euro. Again, I just want to show you on the big picture again. We are at the levels of 2002. That's 20 years exactly. And let's see what happens. So far, they tried to break it, and I think that's what happened here on Friday. A lot of stops were at the Thursday high of 100.50, and they triggered or had a nice impulse to the upside on Friday. And let's see if it continues. A lot of money being made here, just to give you an idea. From this, when the real sell-off happened back in February, the price of euro dollar was at 115. Okay, that's a lot of money being made. So of course, taking profit will be taking place, and let's see how far we're going to move, or we're going to go right back to parity and continue lower, and that's the opposite scenario. We'll be seeing what happens. Pound didn't really bounce hard. It's been super weak to the strength of a dollar and the issues, of course, with the government there. And let's see what happens. Now, Australian dollar, I want to mention something that I heard in the news in the last week. China announced that they unfroze import of the Australian coal. So you know Australia is a big exporter of coal, coal and other things that are being used, but in this case, it's coal. And as you know, the Australian and New Zealand dollar, they call them commodity currencies. So when I heard that news, immediately I even shared with my colleagues that Australian dollar could be a nice one to buy. And as you could see, it started bouncing on Thursday. It went as low as 0.66. 81, and then it bounced 100 pips to the upside, and now Friday will continue. So I don't know how serious that news is. Of course, with issues in China, the fact they announced it doesn't mean they're going to run into buying tons of coal, but I just caught my ear and I pay attention to it, and let's see what happens, especially with some reports and announcements from Bank of Australia. We might see some actions over here. Just a thought. Now, Japanese yen. It's been moving higher and moving higher, and after each consolidation, it moved higher. And then Thursday was a peak, a recent peak at 139.38. Friday, we had to move to the downside. Again, we have an interest rate decision or announcements this week from Japan. Maybe something will change. Maybe we'll see some actions from Bank of Japan, and things will happen. Again, if the dollar cools down a little bit, we might see a retesting of this 136.83 area. Let's see what happens, but a lot of focus on this, a lot of actions in Japanese yen. Usually it doesn't do much, but these actions attract a lot of traders into it. And of course, those are two major currencies that a lot of actions going on in this exchange. So that's Japanese yen. USD CAD had a super crazy move to the upside with touch. Take a look in one day. Look at this range. Low 129.70, high 130.22. That's 250 pips, if I'm not wrong. And we closed in the middle of the range. A lot of super volatility with the strength of a dollar and the actions with oil. And then Friday we sold out. We went below this level of 130.75 and we closed at 130.15. So let's see what next. Again, what oil is going to be doing. And again, just for new traders, why am I mentioning oil when I speak about USD CAD? It's important to know there's a correlation between, excuse me, between Canadian dollar and crude oil, as Canada is a producer and exporter of oil. So when the prices of oil are moving high, Canadian dollar gains some strength and vice versa. So that's USD CAD. And that's it pretty much with Forex. And let's take a look at cryptos. A lot of actions there, a lot of publications there, controversial, some positive, some negative. As you could see, the 20, as we spoke about, it was a serious level. We went up and down, really playing and fighting this level here, 20,000. And we currently trade 121. Again, for the Bitcoin to move higher, we would need to break this recent attempt of 22.5, let's say. And of course, the 20 remains a strong level of support. In this case, it was playing both support and resistance. Let's see what's next. It's been sensitive to the market. It's been sensitive to US dollar as well. Ethereum, it looks actually stronger. It broke through the double resistance here, and it's testing the 50 moving average over here. So it looks like Ethereum has a little bit more positive moves to the upside than Bitcoin. Okay, and I want to thank everyone again for coming to the webinars. And again, I want to remind you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And again, if you do like it, don't be shy and click on that like button. This way we know that you like it. And again, we have a lot of events upcoming week. We had a nice move on Friday. We closed at the highs. As far as the equity market, we could continue higher. Again, we spoke about China with a lot of uncertainty there, as a lot of pressure on the financial institutions now, with people are refusing to continue paying mortgages. That could be a big issue together with COVID. And a lot of announcement this week, and including the European Central Bank interest rate decision and others. I want to wish everyone a successful week. Enjoy the weekend, get some energy, stay happy, stay healthy, and we'll be back next week. All the best.